What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for another Tottenham update. Not in the studio today as we're going up to Manchester fairly shortly. I'm with Brian Daigle, Tottenham on tour. How are we doing today? Another day in paradise.
It is like I always say, it is another day in paradise. The only thing I'm enjoying or looking forward to is a 6 hour road trip with yourself or however long it takes. There may be a little bit of football in between, but a lot of chanting, which is what I'm going for. But apart from that, like you said, Ben, another day in paradise.
Well, we've got a few transfer rumours and news to get through. And let's start off with Pedro Porro once again. As Fabrizio Romano brought us the news yesterday that we brought you on the Tottenham update that Tottenham had a bid rejected of 35 million euros plus another player. We are getting some more info from Romano to say that player was a defender. And we've heard from a source, not sure how reliable it is, but that player was Davinson Sanchez. Romano says that conversations will continue in the next days for Pedro Porro. Not an easy deal to do, but Tottenham will push. Sports Witness are saying that Spurs are willing to give up their 50% transfer fee right over Marcus Edwards to sign Pedro Porro. If it's true that that defender that we offered was Davinson Sanchez, what does that tell you? Does that tell you potentially we could be looking at a defender to bring in from now until the end of the window?
But listen, I've got absolutely no idea what we're doing. I've got no idea what that means. It's scattergun, isn't it? That means nothing. It probably means we're looking for a striker, knowing this football club and the way we're going through things. But this is how bad it's got. We're offering a player, and I would say Davinson Sanchez, love him or hate him, he's got more than a £10 million valuation, I would say. So it would take that deal technically to over the release fee, but they are still saying no, give us £45 million or euros, whatever the currency is, and he is yours. I don't know how hard this is to break down. Whether it's Sanchez, whether it's Tanganga, it's just nonsense. Pay the goddamn money.
I completely agree with you in a sense, but seeing as we're here in this situation, 19th of January in the window, where we're willing to offer 35 million euros plus a defender who's probably worth more than 10 million, if it's not the defender that we're giving, we're willing to waive the 50% transfer fee of Marcus Edwards, which probably is also over 10 million.
Yep.
It says to me that eventually this deal will get done. And I don't know, I think Sporting should be accepting one of these bids.
Listen, funny enough, we know a thing or two about a stubborn owner. We know a lot of things about a stubborn owner. When they have said all month, yours, we can't do anything about it. Pay the price. There's nothing we can do, even if we wanted to. Just do it. And like I've said to you before, Ben, if we do end up getting this deal, why have you wasted 19 days where we could have moved on to other targets, other
Yeah.
ways to strengthen the squad for Conte or whoever it may be, and move on to the next target? This has been a complete waste of time if we do get him. And if we don't get him, it's because we didn't do what was asked. It's quite simple.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, look, at the end of the day, no matter which way you want to slice it, this deal is actually so easy to do. The player wants to come, the player's open to leaving. He's got a minimal release clause of 45 million euros, which in this day and age, for one of Spain's best right backs, if not Europe's best right backs at the moment, just get the deal done in a position that we're desperate for as well. It's just crazy
Correct.
talk.
Completely agree.
But we'll see how that one plays out. But look, I said to you a few weeks ago that I think this deal is going to get done, and I still feel the same way. I think this is a one. I think it's going to get done on deadline day. I really do.
Well, like I said to you, this has got, and I've said this to you from the beginning. This is last season's Adama Traore. This is exactly what it is. With you know full well how much you were reporting that. I was with you for a fair bit of that time when you were reporting
Imminent.
it, and we were and it's literally, yeah, it's imminent. It's imminent. Spurs are yet to make their move, are the famous lines. And here we are again, same window, different player.
Yeah. All right, let's move on and let's talk about another player in Nicola Zaniolo of Roma, a player that we've been linked to much longer than Pedro Porro. I tell you that, probably about 4 years. This one. Uh, Dimarzio saying that Zaniolo can leave Roma in January. Tottenham, West Ham, and Borussia Dortmund all interested. Tottenham have made an offer of a loan with an obligation to buy based on certain conditions for Zaniolo, and Zaniolo will be allowed to leave in January. Roma are not willing to go anywhere below 35 million euros. Sky Sports saying that Roma are willing to accept the loan with an obligation to buy for Zaniolo through Roma's valuation of the player of £35 million. Tottenham's original bid has been rejected. Matti Moretto says that Zaniolo could leave in January, and Gazzetta Italia says that Zaniolo wants to leave Roma now and could be sold as early as this month. The contract expires in 2024 and has grown increasingly impatient about the situation. We know a lot about Zaniolo. Obviously, injuries do follow him and his career throughout his career. I think he's a top talent and a position that we could definitely do in our creation standpoint. But the injuries really worry me with Zaniolo, especially with our medical record and our medical
There you
team.
go.
But I think the sticking point is if we can get the best out of him for 35 million, we've got top talent there.
You're right in everything. That's what I'll say to people, knowing our luck. What does signing a player with huge injury concerns and our medical team sound like a reasonable deal to say, well, I'd rather we use the money that would go on his wages and stuff to put towards getting the money for Porro and someone that will come into the team immediately and play. This guy has all the talent and the ability to improve us greatly, but we know what happens. And like you said, those famous words, our medical team, and it's worse than first feared. This is a thing. This technically could work and be a great deal, but not even Conte or the player. We're now concerned about the medical team, and if he does get injured, how will they treat this? This is what's going on. And again, we offered our first deal rejected. It's another player that we've been linked with for so long, and still, how embarrassing is it that we were linked with these players for so long and go through it window to window and still can't thrash out a deal? You start off where you left off, and still you can't get the deal done. I don't think this is going to go through. I'd be open to it, but you can't get away from the huge concerns with our medical team. You just can't.
Yeah, he's done two ACLs in his career. He's had other injury problems apart from that as well. I think I think we should probably, if we're looking to bring in that position in this transfer window, we should probably look at other targets before we look at him, just because of that injury worries. And I think that we've seen it so many times before. I mean, Eric Lamela and everyone else, Darren Anderton. It's happened so many times over the years. I mean,
Yep.
Lo Celso as well was another one. Ndombele. Can we really afford to bring in another one that's just so injury prone?
Well, this is the thing. Again, you're looking at him as much as he could be a first team player. He seems like another player that's going to come and just be squad filler because of his injuries, because we can't rush him, because obviously he might not be able to suit the demands of the English game compared to Serie A. We need players that come in and go, right, I see where he goes into the first team immediately, or at least challenges serious. This is just squad filler again, isn't it? It really, really is just squad filler to me.
I think that in terms of the quality of the player, he hasn't shown it this season for one reason or another. Because again, he's had a season blighted by injury. But I think if you're just looking at solely the quality of the player, I think he can come into our first team, and I think he can definitely impact the first team. But again, it just brings me back to the injuries. That's the problem. That's the sticking point for me.
Exactly. Well, let's have a look. He plays from what I read. Can he play on both sides of the wing, or is it just one? He's more predominantly one side.
I think he favours more the right hand side, but I think he can play both sides, but also he can play in the central areas as well.
Okay, so he could go across the. So if we look at this, he could be back up or good competition. Sorry for Kulu, but Kulu's injury is concerned, so we could have both injured at the same time, and then we're screwed. Then you look on the left, you got Son, who's way out of form. Richarlison may slot in there, coming back from injury. Could he go there? And let's face it, he's Harry. Why sign another injury-prone player to recover two players that are picking up injuries quite regularly? It's a
Yeah.
concern.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. But let's move on. Let's talk about another one of our targets in Leandro Trossard. As Fabrizio, I can see Brian getting very excited for this one. Romano says that Brighton are yet to receive a fresh bid from Tottenham for Leandro Trossard. And if I just remind you that we made a derisory bid of 12 million a couple of days ago. And now the situation is that Arsenal are in advanced talks to sign Trossard. Personal terms have been agreed with the player. Official bid has been made and talks are continuing with Brighton. Been told talks are very advanced as Arsenal are prepared to close the deal in the next hours. Not early stages, but progressing fast for a permanent move. And Dharmashesh from Sky Sports says that Tottenham are no longer interested in Leandro Trossard now. And what I'm being told is that the deal is going to be probably in the ballpark figure of 20 to 30 million for Trossard. Me personally, I really rate the player and I would love to see him through the door. And I think he'd provide brilliant competition on both sides of the wing for us. And for the price that is banded about, we could have got this deal done a couple of days ago. So I don't know what we're thinking of yet again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to talk a bit about this, but this after a humiliating, spineless performance in the NLD, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club have acted spineless in this transfer. Now, whether you are a fan of Trossard or not, that I am, if you believe he's £30 million, let's say the top dollar there, and you don't think he's that amount of money, Arsenal wanted him. Arteta has said this player could help us excel and increase our push for the Premier League. And what have they done? Okay, let's go get him. No messing about, no derogatory offer, no lowballing. You want him, Arteta? Let's see what we can do for you. Bang, huge talks. I fully expect the here we go before we get to Manchester City. I fully expect it. And people are going, oh, it's 30 million, he had 6 months, he's a crybaby. He may be all those things. But it's a player Arsenal wanted. It's a player Arteta wanted. And guess what a big boy club has got and done? Got it done. This is another ridiculous act and transfer attempt by our so-called incredible board that have again been shown up for the charlatans that they are. We are weak. We are getting laughed at. And Trossard could go in and win a Premier League medal. And, mate, it's just such a simple deal. Look at it with Ericsson. Do you think Daniel Levy would have allowed an offer like, what? Let's say the 18 million below? He would have even entertained the idea. Say, what the hell? But why is it okay for him to do that? So it looks like we're trying to do stuff, but a big boy. It's just a joke. I mean, how? There's going to be a lot of comeback from me on these, but this is the thing. You put in a bid for a player. The value may be excessive for people, but that's what Arsenal wanted, and they've got it. And it's amazing how the Spurs fans, when we were linked with him, he's a great player, I can't wait to see him be good. Now he's going down the road. He's overrated, he's overplayed, the price is ridiculous. You can't have it both ways. It's another spineless act by Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, and it's just like it just came out of nowhere as well. Just suddenly they're in advanced talks and it's about to get done. And like every time Spurs are linked with a player, we have to creep into negotiations, um, be confident about negotiations, look at negotiations. I mean, it's a whole long process with Spurs before
Yep.
they even put in a bid. Never mind get the deal done. And then Arsenal just come in, swoop in, and that's it, done.
Big boy club with the big boy pants on, doing big boy things.
Very frustrating. Let's talk about the goalkeeping situation now. We've got a few names to talk about. First, starting up with Jan Oblak from the Evening Standard, and they say Tottenham are interested. That key word again, interested in Atletico Madrid goalkeeper Jan Oblak, who is ready to move to the Premier League. Obviously, top keeper Jan Oblak has taken a few steps backwards in his career this season and potentially last season, not being on top form with Atletico Madrid. Does that maybe put some doubts in your mind whether you'd want him at Spurs?
Listen, first of all, with that word interested, I'm interested in buying a Lamborghini. Doesn't mean I'm going to get one. That's what I don't even drive, but I'd definitely interested in getting one. Oblak is a goalkeeper that's done very, very well in Spain and has put in some incredible performances. He's not on my list for getting them. There's players you've mentioned yesterday or the day before when goalkeepers were discussed that I think are going to be more suited to Tottenham Hotspur. I think getting him out of Atletico Madrid is going to be a huge ordeal. and there could be money coming. And as much as I rate him, I don't see this one happening at all. Would I like him? I think there's better options. I really do.
Wow. Because like a couple of years ago, people were talking about him as one of the best
Yep.
goalkeepers in world football, which is crazy to think about. So I mean, me personally, I think I would like to take the punt on him because he's clearly got the quality, and for one reason or another, it's dropped for in the past couple of years. But I firmly believe that he can get back to what he was maybe a couple of years ago. Another name on the list is David Raya of Brentford. I've made it no secret of how highly I rate him, and the Evening
Yep.
Standard is saying that Chelsea are ready to rival Tottenham for Brentford's David Raya. Lily White Rose is saying that reported transfer target David Raya counts as a homegrown player, having come through the academy at Blackburn. What's your opinion on Raya?
Fantastic keeper. I'd rather him than Oblak. There's another couple in the list that I have, and I heard again you mentioned one of them the other day. But this guy fits playing out from the back. He's got incredible reflexes. I've been very, very impressed with him. And of course, we've been doing what we do. We're Trossard. We're interested. So it's like, oh wait a minute, Tottenham Hotspur involved. Let's quickly swoop in and get it done before they get time to blink. I think he'd be a terrific goalkeeper for us. And I didn't know what you just said about the homegrown thing. That is crucial. That
Mm.
is massive. That could be. That has now escalated him in my list of trying to get him because that could be incredible. That's a big part in it, and we got to act.
It's mental how like if we get him, he'll get called up for Spain and be part of homegrown, and Dyer will get called up for England and won't be homegrown.
Yeah,
These rules are so stupid, aren't they?
they are. They
Stupid.
are. But it's a great goalkeeper. Been very impressed with him this season.
Agreed. And the last name on the list for the goalkeepers is a name called Sonny Dieng of QPR. And Will Unwin from The Guardian saying that Spurs, Brighton, and Brentford are all monitoring QPR goalkeeper Dieng ahead of a potential move in the summer transfer window. And it's interesting that Brighton and Brentford are linked with him because they've obviously got two good goalkeepers
Yeah.
in Sanchez and Rea, and their recruitment of goalkeepers is clearly pretty good. So I don't know too much about the QPR goalkeeper, to tell you the truth. But having seen that Brighton and Brentford are interested, it might be a good move. But I don't know too much about him, so I can't really comment too much.
Yeah, same here. And there's that word we've changed interested to monitoring, um, as we do the buzzword as Tottenham Hotspur's transfer speculation. You would think that kind of goalkeeper. I don't know anything about him. You saying the name is the first I've heard of it, but like you said, those two teams have very good goalkeepers. I'm a huge fan of the Brighton goalkeeper as well, and maybe that's to add strength and depth to back these keepers up. Maybe they've identified a young prospect like we have, accordingly. It's whether it goes ahead, but right now, I think we all know Hugo's time is done. His days are numbered. It's unfortunate. Listen, he's been a wonderful, wonderful servant, but given us some fantastic moments, made some of the best saves I've seen live in my life. But we need to get that back up. And not only that, Fraser Forster's not going to be there forever. So we're going to need two goalkeepers, unless Austin or Whiteman comes through. So again, potential. No more potential. This got for me, Ben. I don't know how you feel. The goalkeeper is the most important position you have to get right on that football pitch, bar none. Because we saw with Man U when they got rid of Van der Sar, when they got rid of Schmeichel, and Arsenal when they got rid of Seaman, and Chelsea when they got rid of Czech. You have to get this right. This is a position where you have to scout it right, and you have to say, right, whatever it takes to get our number one choice in, it'll be our number one for this has to be right. So, looking at youngsters right now, yes, you can look at it in the distance, but they should solely be looking at first team. Like, right, who is our number one? Because it's not going to be Lloris, it won't be Fraser Forster. So we have to look at number ones.
Absolutely spot on, and it's going to be big shoes to fill for Hugo
Huge.
as well. Massive shoes to fill. Not only has he been a world-class goalkeeper for us for a number of years, but he's been our club captain as well for a number of
Yep.
years. So, and if the rumours are that Harry Kane is leaving at the end of the season, who the hell is going to be our captain next season?
Daniel Levy. He'll be manager, player. He'll be everything. No, that's the thing, mate. That's a good point you mentioned. Going back to Hugo, it's the captain as well. Do I agree that goalkeeper? I'm one of those that don't think a goalkeeper should be captain. But that's other people have different feelings about it. But you're losing your goalkeeper of 10 plus years. and your captain. That's just made those shoes even bigger to fill, especially if Kane goes to not be the heir to the throne. So this has got to be right. And who's going to be captain? That's another debate or discussion. But yeah, it's this number one has got to be solved quickly and right and correctly. Sorry.
Yeah. And last but not least for the update, let's talk about Lucas Moura. As Andre Hernan, a journalist, is saying that Everton are now interested in signing Lucas Moura. And I did see another report on Twitter not long ago that's saying they have made an approach for Lucas Moura as well. I think we can all agree that Lucas Moura's time at this football club has come to an end.
Yep.
Again, he's given us some absolutely unbelievable moments. Obviously, that one in Amsterdam will stick to everyone's mind. But I think it's just time to leave the club now and get someone in to replace him.
Yeah, I mean, you look at. I don't know how that deal will be structured because, from what we know and what a lot of people know, obviously he
Let
wants
him
to go
go
back
for
to
free.
Brazil. Exactly. Let him go to Everton for 6 months, whatever, because he's going to Brazil. He wants to go home. He's always said he wants to go back to Brazil and finish it. I can't. Is it Santos' hometown team or whatever it is? He wants to play there.
Sao
So
Paulo.
I don't know. Sao Paulo. That's it. Sorry, my bad. So you don't know if this will be a 6 month loan deal and then he goes away just to finish his contract and get minutes and help Everton. Or listen, I wish that man nothing but the best. He's a wonderful character, giving us some great moments. Like I said, one of the greatest moments till the day we die will go down in history. Was very passionate about the club, but it is time to go. You're getting your wage. You're not getting into the first team. Unfortunately, your time has come. And if you do go to Everton, I hope you have a better 6 months than the last person we sent out for nothing to Everton last season, because he deserves a bit of joy and he's done us well in that game. But it is without doubt time to go.
Well, how do you assess Lucas Moura's time at Spurs? Would you say it's been a success?
No, no. I'm very, very underwhelming. Very, very under. Listen, there's nothing like we say. Everyone, when you say the words Lucas Moura to a Spurs fan, no matter what, you think of one thing and one thing only. But I remember the cracking goal he scored against Norwich last season, that thunderbolt. I remember when he was playing in the middle for Jose Mourinho and we got the best out of him.
Yeah.
But I also remember running around like a headless chicken with no end product. Passion, commitment, dedication, work rate, all there. End product,
2 goals at Old
very
Trafford,
underwhelming.
3-0 win.
Yeah, the 2 goals. Yeah, he got 2 goals that night, didn't he?
Yeah,
So yeah, there's like that. With Lucas Moura, I think if you were to describe it and wrap it up, it'd be moments that will be remembered, not what his longevity or anything like that. So time to go, my friend. But I wish you all the best.
absolutely. Absolutely. So that brings a close to the Tottenham update today. We'll be on our way to Manchester very, very soon. But any exciting shows coming up on Tottenham on Tour in the next couple of days or weeks?
Well, we did a very good show yesterday, and I recommend everyone to watch it. Where it was called "Who Are We?" and we literally went up the ladder from medical staff to players to coaches to directors of football, and we ended up at a certain ownership rather. And it's actually a very good Brian Ireland rant. Brian Ireland channeled his inner Daigle, and then I went on a very placid, calm rant, and then we spoke about the process. So that came out.
As
There's
you
going to
do.
be a lot more. There's going to be a lot more coming from us in the coming weeks, especially building up to transfer deadline day. I will be streaming live or putting loads of pre-recorded stuff up from the training ground protest Saturday. So there's bits and pieces coming from us. We're going to be back more regularly at long last.
Awesome. Very much looking forwad to it. But we are closing down. We're in the final stages of the transfer window now, 19th of January. So tick
Should we
tock,
have that debate
tick
again, Ben?
tock. Say
Should we
again?
have our debate again?
No. We can have it on the way up to Manchester. See how long it lasts. But look, we'll see you all very soon. We'll bring you all the content from the Etihad later on tonight. Sim and Barry will be in the studio with you for the watch long. But thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you
Go on,
Spurs.
you Spurs.